What's up, guys? Welcome back. In today's episode, it's a little chaotic today, but I am finally putting my new open car trailer to work. And I don't know what I made for a thumbnail, but you might know exactly what I'm using it for. But it might not be for a car. And obviously it's raining, so that doesn't help at all. So I'm hoping that the clouds break, or that the weather breaks, and we don't get soaked doing this. So let's go and I'll fill you guys in on what's going on. All right, guys, we got the lift loaded. Thanks to Derek and Perry at Quick Everett's for allowing me to use the forklift. That was key. But we don't have fork extensions, so getting it out of the truck and getting it turned around was kind of a job. And I didn't take any time to film it because the truck driver obviously needs to get unloaded and get out of here. So we spent some time trying to configure pulling it out, dropping it down, and then picking it up from the side and getting it on the trailer. The boys went to lunch, so I took the forklift and maneuvered it a little bit more on the trailer just so it was sitting on some cross members and it'll ride nicely. So I'm strapped down and ready to go. All right, so I didn't even tell you guys what I was doing when I left my house to head to Quick Everett's garage, my friend Perry's shop. I bought a lift. I'm sure you already know that by the thumbnail. I pulled the trigger on a car lift, and yeah, I didn't even get a chance to describe what exactly was going on. I'm heading home now, so once I get back to the shop, I'll give you guys a walk around and talk to you exactly what this lift is and why I got it. All right, so I'm home. Now to get this lift disassembled, or unpacked, I should say, and in the shop before it starts to rain again. Caught a real good window while trying to get this thing out of the truck and on the trailer. So hopefully the luck will continue with the weather. So yeah, gonna get this thing unpacked, get in the shop, and then I'll talk to you guys a little bit about this lift. Well, it's off the trailer and it's in the shop. Man, these pieces are heavy, especially when you don't have the advantage of hydraulics or a lot of extra hands. But my girlfriend Kayla and I were able to muscle this thing into pieces off the trailer and safely into the shop. Nobody's hurt. And now I'd say the hard part is really what's next, is installation. I've mapped out or taped off a few spots on the floor that I think is gonna work well. I've done a lot of measuring from the door to the back wall. This pallet rack and workbench setup can be moved down the wall a little bit farther to open up more space to the back wall here. But I'd like to leave this where it is. That way down here where the 700 is, I still have enough room to the back wall to fit a larger car in here. I'd like to keep that as an option because this car obviously is real small. It's 11 feet long. It's much more narrow and short than it is long. I mean, 11 feet is longer than you'd expect. But that being said, I'd like to keep this whole unit down this way as far as it is. So I have yet to put the posts up and set them into place. That's next. I think I'll do that next just to get a visual as to how much space the posts are actually going to take up. More than likely, I'm going to end up putting shop implements here in the middle to kind of divide the bays. I'd like to put up like a shop curtain divide. That way, all the metal fabrication that's going on down here at this end of the shop, grinding metal and welding and cutting and all that, particulates don't get over into the laser shop or the laser machine end of the shop, because this is all like clean room stuff. The laser has lots of electronics in it. I've got my computer down here. I do a lot of like assembly work and acrylic welding and stuff down here, which is all with solvents and whatnot. So the little bit I have been cutting and welding in here, when I built the W108 suspension, I do notice a ton of metal particulates and metal dust all over everything down here, which is super annoying. And originally, as I've mentioned before, if you guys remember some of the early episodes when I first moved here last year, I wanted the laser machine and this whole end of the shop upstairs, but it's just it's too big, even taken apart into pieces. It was just too much to get it upstairs, unfortunately. So it's down here. Now, about the lift itself. This is the BendPak Grand Prix 7LC. And the 7LC is one of their low-rise overhead crossover two-post car lifts. This is a 7,000-pound lift, so this will pick up basically everything I own, including my F250. I've got enough pad thickness here in the shop. They want at least 4¼ inches, which is more than safe for a lift of this weight rating. But the key part about this lift and why I purchased this specific lift is that it'll fit in a shop that's got 10-foot ceilings. And this has 11'6" to the trusses, so I can't fit a traditional 12-foot lift in here, which is a bummer. It's a major bummer because even if the AC ductwork and the overhead door motor was a side mount and the AC ductwork was tucked up into the trusses like it's supposed to be, I'd still only have 11'6" to the trusses. So that ruled out an overhead crossover two-post lift at a normal 12-foot height. And I know what you're thinking, why not just get a floor crossover? But if any of you guys are into low cars like I am, you know that overhead crossover is absolutely key. There's a drain over here in this bay, so this has like a real aggressive pitch portal almost into a dark nether realm down to a drain. So I don't have any flat space to use over here. The Corvair will barely straddle that hole or that drain basically. So over here is my only flat space in the shop. So I really want to be able to utilize this flat floor for building cars as far as air suspension goes, being able to lay a car flat on the ground. Even if I've got a low static car in here, I want to be able to pull it straight in, block it, and get it on a lift and get it up without having that floor crossover. So that being said, I was bound by a lift that BendPak makes, which is their 7LC. They even make one that goes even shorter than 10 foot. I don't remember what exactly that measurement is, but somebody who's got like an attached garage at their house that only has like 8 or 9 foot ceilings, they make an overhead crossover lift that'll fit in that shop as well. Even though it won't go up high enough to be able to stand underneath your usual sized car, most of my cars, the small ones at least, will be able to get to that top bar and I'll be able to stand up underneath it for the most part. The Corvair being a roof chopped car and the 700 being pretty small. I haven't measured the Auto Union yet, but those two cars I should be able to stand up underneath. Anything full size, I'll have to sit on like a caster creeper or caster stool or something like that. which is fine. But that will allow me to have access to the full undercarriage of the car, exhaust work, drivetrain work, suspension work. I know a floor scissor lift is real nice as well. It doesn't have like a crazy two-post setup, but that takes up the undercarriage of the car, and then you can't really work on certain parts of the undercarriage. So that'll do it for this episode. Just a short one, but a massive, massive addition to this shop. It was a financial hammer that I had to drop. For me, it was a big expense for me. Really happy that I did. When I first ordered it, I thought, man, that money could go somewhere else. I just dropped over $4,000 on that 24-foot open trailer that you guys saw a few episodes back. And I mean, I bought this lift and that trailer the same week. And so it was, for me, it was a very expensive week, but pieces that will help this whole thing become easier, and just super excited about everything that's on the burner at the moment. Also wanted to plug the web store. I still have some Ludwig's Garage gear that I put back on the web store after Riverside, which was a few months ago. Still have the hand screen printed Patina Paradise posters that have the Corvair and the 700 on them. Those are hand screen printed by my good friend Dustin Williams. Those are in short supply. I don't remember how many I have left. I still have some of the same Patina Paradise shirts left, some tees and some long sleeves, some stickers, some leather keyrings, and more. As you guys know, I make the leather keyrings myself. So hit the web store link, ludwigsgarage.com, in the video's description, as well as the Patreon link. You'll also find the Wheel Price app links in the video's description as well for both iOS and Android devices. That is free. And the Bag Riders link, if you guys hit the Bag Riders and use code Ludwigs at checkout, you will get a discount on all of your air suspension and beyond needs. Gonna end the video there. The last episode, this one, and I think the one following, are all just shop updates, shop upgrades, I should say, new tooling and new equipment. But getting into the fun stuff again soon. All of these big purchases are going to help me dive into the real fun stuff that you guys want to see more frequently and very soon. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next episode.